This is my picture. You can recognize me by this picture, and the contents are solubility, BCS classification. Today I will discuss these topics like solubility, BCS classification, solubilization, techniques of solubility enhancement, physical modification, chemical modification, and miscellaneous methods. So I will start my presentation with a definition of solubility. So the solubility is defined in quantitative term as concentration of solute in concentrated solution at a certain temperature, and in qualitative way it can be defined as a spontaneous interaction of two or more substances to form a homogeneous molecular dispersion. Solubilization can be defined as a preparation of thermodynamically stable isotropic solution of a solute, normally insoluble or slightly soluble in a given solvent, by the introduction of an additional component or components. The extent to which the solute dissolves at a particular temperature is known as its solubility at that temperature. Usually 20 degrees centigrade is considered to be the optimum temperature for the preparation of stable saturated solutions, because it is considered as room temperature at which the drugs are supposed to be kept. When the substance dissolves in a given system, there must be interaction between solvent and solute molecules or ions, and dissolution of solute in solvent results. During this phenomena, a few thermodynamic functions such as free energy, enthalpy, entropy change, and that is why when a solute is dissolved in a solvent, the dissolution is generally accompanied by the absorption or evolution of energy in the form of heat. However, no energy changes are involved in the dissolution process if the forces of attraction between the solute molecule and the solvent molecules are exactly equal. To visualize this molecular interaction, one has to study the effect of various physicochemical parameters on solubility behavior. This helps in predicting type of interaction and extent of solubility. Next, the BCS classification. The BCS classification means a biopharmaceutical classification system is an experimental model that measures permeability and solubility under prescribed conditions. The original purpose of the system was to aid in regulation of post-approval changes and generic providing approvals based solely on in vitro data when appropriate. Importantly, since the majority of drugs are orally dosed, the system was designed around oral drug delivery, and waivers, that is a permission to skip in vitro bioequivalence studies, are reserved for drug products that meet certain requirements around solubility and permeability and also rapidly dissolve in the human body. According to the biopharmaceutical classification system, the drug substances are classified to 4 classes upon their solubility and permeability. So the class 1 is a high permeability and high solubility. Examples are metoprolol and paracetamol. Those compounds are well absorbed and their absorption rate is usually higher than excretion. Class 2, high permeability and low solubility. Examples are aceclofenac and the glibenclamide. The viability of those products is limited by their solvation rate. A correlation between the in vivo viability and the in vitro solvation can be found. Class 3, the low permeability and high solubility. Examples are cimetidine. The absorption is limited by the permeation rate, but the drug is solvated very fast. If the formulation does not change the permeability or gastrointestinal duration time, then class 1 criteria can be applied. Class 4, the low solubility and low permeability. Examples: biafonazole. Those compounds have a poor bioavailability. Usually they are not well absorbed over the intestinal mucosa and a high variability is expected. So this is the BCS classification system, and the next one I will discuss about the parts of a solvent required for one part of solute. So very soluble, the parts of solvent required for one part of solute, that is lesser than 1. Freely soluble, that is 1 to 10 range, and for soluble substances the range is 10 to 30, and sparingly soluble substances the range is 30 to 100 parts of a solvent required for one part of solute. And for slightly soluble the range is 100 to 1000, and very slightly soluble substances the range is 1000 to 10,000, and for insoluble substances it is greater than 10,000 parts. So the next one is the solubilization. After describing the solubilization, I will discuss about some definitions like solution, solute, solvent, a saturated solution, and unsaturated solutions. So the solution is a mixture of two or more components that form a homogeneous mixture. The components are referred to the solute and solutes and the solvent and solvent. Solute is a dissolved agent, a less abundant part of the solution, and the solvent is the component in which the solute is dissolved, more abundant part of the solution. A saturated solution is one in which an equilibrium is established between dissolved and undissolved solute at a definite temperature, or a solution that contains the maximum amount of solute at a definite temperature. An unsaturated solution or supersaturated solution is one containing the dissolved solute in a concentration below that necessary for complete saturation at a defined temperature. A saturated solution contains more of the dissolved solute that it would normally contain in a saturated state at a definite temperature. The solubilization, the process of solubilization involves the breaking of interionic or intermolecular bonds in the solute, the separation of molecules of the solvent to provide space in the solvent for the solute, interaction between the solvent and the solute molecules or ions. The process of dissolution in presence of surfactants have been described as a formation of micelle, that is a colloidal aggregates of surfactant, which enhances the solubility of poorly soluble solute when surfactant of proper HLB is added in low concentration to liquids. It tends to orient at air-liquid interface. If surfactant is contained to be added in higher concentration, the air-liquid interface is fully occupied. At still higher concentration, the surfactant molecules or ions are forced to go into the bulk of the solution, of the liquid. When the particular concentration of the surfactant molecule is maintained in the system, the aggregates of surfactant are formed called micelle. The steps involved in the solubilization process are first one is holes open in the solvent, and the second process is the molecules of the solids break away from the bulk, and the third one is the freed solid molecules is integrated into the molecule. So this is a process, general method of solubilization that is done in the solubility or by the surfactants. So the next, the techniques of the solubility enhancement, it is classified into three types, that is the physical modification, the chemical modification, and the other methods. So the first one is a physical method. It is divided into four parts, that is it is based on the particle size reduction, that is divided into four parts. The particle size is reduced by the four methods like micronization, nanosuspension, crystallization, supercritical fluid process. And the modification of crystal habit is based on the formation of polymorphs and the pseudopolymorphs. And the drug dispersion in carrier is done by three methods, the eutectic mixtures, solid solutions, and solid dispersions. And the complexation is done by the use of complexing agent. And the solubilization by surfactant is done by the micro emulsions. Next one is the chemical method. Chemical modification is done by three methods like change in the pH, the use of buffers, and the derivatizations. And the other methods are co-crystallization, co-solvency, hydrotrophy, solubilizing agents, selective adsorption on insoluble carriers, solvent deposition. Precipitation, porous, particle technology, and nanotechnology approaches. So the first one is a physical modification. The steps are, the processes are particle size distribution, the modification of crystal habit, and drug dispersion in carriers, complexation, and solubilization by surfactants or solubilizing agents. So the first one is the particle size reduction. The solubility of drug is often strictly related to drug particle size. As a particle becomes smaller and the surface area increases in solubility. So the methods, the techniques are micronization, and the second technique is the nanosuspension. So the first one is a micronization. Micronization increases the dissolution rate of drug through increased surface area by decreasing particle size. It does not increase the equilibrium solubility. Micronization of drug is done by milling technique using a jet miller, rotor, stator, and the colloidal mills, and so forth. The micronization is suitable for drugs having a high dose number, because it does not change the saturation solubility of the drug. Next one is the nanosuspension. If we discuss about the nanosuspension, so we can say that the technology is the technology is applied to poorly soluble drugs that are insoluble in both water and oil, and The pharmaceutical suspension, a pharmaceutical suspension is biphasic system consisting of nano-sized drug particles stabilized by surfactant for either oral or topical use or parenteral and pulmonary administration. The particle size distribution of the solid particle in nanosuspension is usually less than 1 micron, with an average particle size ranging between 200 and 600 nanometer. So this is the particle size reduction process. The advantages and disadvantages are the advantages are the liquid forms can be rapidly developed by early stage testing, like preclinical, that can be converted into solid for later clinical development. Typically, low excipient to drug ratio is required, and the third one is formulations are generally well tolerated provided that strong surfactants are too required for stabilization. Disadvantages are due to the high surface charge on discrete small particles. There is a strong tendency for particle agglomeration. Developing a solid dosage form with a high payload without encouraging agglomeration may be technically challenging. And the third one is technically development of sterile intravenous formulation is even more challenging. So the next one is a modification of the crystal habit. The modification of the crystal habit, the polymorphism is the ability of an element or compound to crystallize in more than one crystalline form. And the different polymorphs of drugs are chemically identical, but they exhibit different physicochemical properties, including solubility, melting point, density, texture, stability, etc. Broadly, polymorphs can be classified as enantiotropes and monotropes based on the thermodynamic properties. The hydrotrophy, next if we discuss about the hydrotrophy, the hydrotrophy is a solubilization phenomena whereby addition of large amount of second solute result in an increase in the aqueous solubility of existing solute. When the solubility of drug is enhanced owing to the presence of large amount of additives, the technique is referred as hydrotrophy. The mechanism of this technique is not known, but it has been speculated that this change in the solubility of drug in solution might be either due to solubilization, complexation, or change in the solvent character. A very good example of this technique is the enhancement of caffeine solubility in water due to the presence of large concentration of sodium benzoate. The other examples include the solubilization of benzoic acid with sodium benzoate and of theophylline with the sodium acetate and sodium alginate. The concentrated aqueous hydrotrophic solution of sodium benzoate and salicylate, urea, nicotinamide, sodium citrate and sodium acetate have been observed to enhance the aqueous solubility of many poorly water-soluble drugs. Co-solvency, the next one is the co-solvency. The solubility of poorly soluble drug in water can be increased by mixing it with some water miscible solvent in which the drug is readily soluble. This process is known as co-solvency, and the solvent used in combination are called co-solvent. The mechanism of co-solvency is not well understood. It has been said that this phenomena takes place as a result of independent solubility of the solute in each co-solvent. For example, undissociated phenobarbital has a solubility of approximately 1.2 gram liter in water and 13 gram per liter in ethyl alcohol. Various co-solvents are commonly used such as ethanol, sorbitol, glycerine, propylene glycol and polyethylene glycols. The co-solvents are having hydrogen acceptors or donor group with a small hydrocarbon region. The hydrophobic hydrocarbon region usually interfere with the hydrogen bonding network of water, which consequently reduces the intermolecular attraction of water, while the hydrophilic hydrogen bond ensures the water solubility. The next one is a solubilization by surfactant. The surfactants are the agent which reduces the surface tension and enhance the dissolution of the lipophilic drug in aqueous medium. The surfactants are also used to stabilize the drug suspension, and when the concentration of surfactant more than their critical micelle concentration CMC, which is in the range of 0.5 to 0.10% for most surfactant, the micelle formation occurs while entrap the drug within the micelle. This is known as a micellization, and they generally result in enhanced solubility of the poorly soluble drugs. Next one is the solid dispersion. If we discuss about the solid dispersion, so the solid dispersion approach to reduce the particle size and therefore increases the dissolution rate and the absorption of drug was first recognized in 1961. The term solid dispersion refers to the dispersion of one or more active ingredient in an inert carrier in a solid state frequently by the melting fusion method and the solvent method or the fusion solvent method. Novel additional preparation techniques have included rapid precipitation by freeze drying and using the supercritical fluids and spray drying, often in the presence of amorphous hydrophilic polymers, and also using the methods such as melt extrusion. Hydrophilic carriers used for solid dispersion include polyvinyl pyrrolidine, polyethylene glycol, Plasdone SX30. The many times surfactant may also be used in the formation of solid dispersion. Surfactants like twin 80 docusate sodium MES 52, pluronic 5 F68 and sodium lauryl sulfate are used. The next one is the techniques of solid dispersion. So there are so many techniques like the fusion method or melt method. Accurately weighed amount of carriers are placed in an aluminium pan on a hot plate and liquefy with constant stirring at a temperature of about 60 degree. As accurately weighed amount of active drug is incorporated into the melted carriers with a stirring to ensure homogeneity. The mixture is heated until a clear homogeneous melt is obtained. The pan is then removed from the hot plate and allowed to cool at room temperature. The next method is the solvent method. Accurately weighed amount of active drug and the carriers are dissolved in minimum quantities of chloroform in a round bottom flask. The solvent is removed using a rotatory evaporator. The obtained solid dispersion is transferred onto the aluminium pan and allowed to dry at room temperature. The next is a dropping method. A solid dispersion of a melted drug carrier mixture is the pipetted and then dropped onto a plate where it solidifies into the round particles, and the size and the shape of the particles can be influenced by factors such as the viscosity of the melt and the size of the pipette. Because the viscosity is highly temperature dependent, it is very important to adjust the temperature so that when the melt is dropped onto the plate, it solidifies to a spherical shape. Next one is the pH adjustment. The essence of the solubility of this approach, the buffer capacity and tolerability of the selected pH are important to consider. pH is helpful in enhancing the solubility because many drugs behave as either weak acid or weak base. For example, the solubility of phenobarbital varies at different pH values. At 2.6 pH the solubility is 0.11, and at 7 pH it is increased up to 0.17, and at pH 8 it is further increased up to 0.41. So pH is a critical instrument for the solubility of drug, which can be found out by the application of the law of mass action to obtain a particular solubility of either weak acid or weak base drugs in the formulation. The two equations to find out the required pH of the weak acid and weak base are given by an equation like pH is equals to pKa plus log S minus S0 upon S0, and where the PHP is the pH below which the drug for weak acid separates from solution as a undissociated acid, and S is the molar concentration of the salt added, and SO is the molar solubility of the undissociated acids, and pK is the dissociation constant of weak acid. Next one is a higher pressure homogenization. It has been used to prepare the nano suspension of many poorly water soluble drugs. In this method, the suspension of a drug and surfactant is forced under pressure through a nano sized aperture valve of a high pressure homogenizer. The principle of this method is based on cavitation in the aqueous phase. The cavitation force within the particles are sufficiently high to convert the drug macroparticles into nanoparticles. The concern with this method is the need for small sample particles before loading, and the fact that many cycles of the homogenizations are required. Next one is the superficial fluid recrystallization. You can see that in the graph. Those fluids are referred to supercritical fluids which are having the temperature and pressure greater than its critical temperature and critical pressure, so as they are acquire properties of both gas and liquids, that is the carbon dioxides. As the drug gets solubilized within the SCF, they can be recrystallized with the reduced particle size of the drug. Next one is a sonocrystallization, the novel approach for particle size reduction on the basis of crystallization by using ultrasound is sonocrystallization. The sonocrystallization utilizes ultrasound power characterized by a frequency range of 20 to 100 kHz for inducing crystallization, and it is not only enhances the nucleation rate but also an effective means of size reduction and controlling size and distribution of the active pharmaceutical ingredients. Most applications are ultrasound in the range 20 kHz to 5 kHz. Next one is a complexation The complex formation. The complexation is the association between two or more molecules to form a non-bonded entity with a well-defined stereochemistry. The complexation relies on relatively weak forces such as London forces, hydrogen bonding, and hydrophobic interactions. In aqueous solutions, the cyclodextrins are able to form inclusion complexes with many drugs by taking up the drug molecules or some lipophilic moieties of the molecule into the central cavity. No covalent bonds are formed or broken during complex formation, and the drug molecules in complex are in rapid equilibrium with the free molecules in the solution. The driving force for the complex formation include the release of enthalpy-rich water molecules from the cavity, the hydrogen bonding, van der Waals interactions, charge transfer interactions, etc. The physicochemical properties of free cyclodextrin molecules differ from those in complex, and the stereochemistry of the complexes formed and the numerical value of their stability constants can be determined by observing the changes in physicochemical properties like solubility, chemical reactivity, UV gas absorbance, etc. So the techniques of complexation, like the physical mixture, active drug with a suitable polymer in different ratios mixed in a mortar for about 1 hour with a constant saturation. The mixture is passed through sieve number 80 and is stored in desiccator over fused calcium chloride. And the first method is a hot melt method. In this, the drug and vehicle, the melting point is low, the organic solvent should be insoluble. So heating is applied. Molecular dispersion can be achieved or not, depend on the degree of supersaturation and the rate of cooling used in the process. So when we heat the substances, when we heat the mixture like a drug and vehicle, so it melts. The melting starts after that, and if we start the melting process, the freezing process is quickly started with the started, and lastly the dosage form is prepared. So the important important requisites like the miscibility of the drug and carrier in the molten form, the thermostability of the drug and carrier, and the suitable to drugs and vehicles with a promising heat stability. So by the hot melt method, suitable dosage form is prepared. Next is the solvent evaporation method. In this method, we have taken the drug and vehicles both soluble in solvent. In organic solvent, when we add the organic solvent, it forms the solutions, and after that it evaporates the solvent, and after that it co-precipitates. The solvent evaporation can be done by spray drying or freeze drying, and temperature used for the solvent evaporation generally lie in the range 23 to 65 degrees centigrade, and after co-precipitation the dosage form is prepared, suitable to drugs with a volatility or poor stability. The next one, the extrusion method. The melt extrusion of miscible components result in amorphous solid solution formation. whereas extrusion of an immiscible component leads to amorphous drug dispersed in crystalline excipient. The process has been useful in the preparation of solid dispersion in a single step. Next one, it is an instrument which is used for the hot melt extrusion process. So the next one is the kneading method. The kneading method. The active drug with suitable polymer in different ratios is added to the mortar and triturated with the small quantities of ethanol to prepare a slurry. Slowly the drug is incorporated into the slurry with a constant trituration. The prepared slurry is then air dried at 250 degree centigrade for 24 hours, and the resultant product is pulverized and passed through sieve number 80 and stored in desiccator over fused calcium chloride. Next method is the co-precipitation method. Active drug is dissolved in ethanol at room temperature and the suitable polymer is dissolved in distilled water. The different molar ratios of active drug and suitable polymers are mixed respectively. The mixture is stirred at room temperature for 1 hour and the solvent is evaporated. The resultant mass is pulverized and passed through sieve number 80 and stored in a desiccator. The next is the spray drying. The solvent evaporation of drug and polymer solution is in different ratio is carried out by using spray dryer. The solutions are prepared by dissolving drug in methanol and polymer in distilled water and mix both solutions, which produces a clear solution. The solvent evaporated by using evaporator and the spray dried mixture of drug with polymer is obtained in 20 to 30 minutes. The next one is the chemical modification. If we discuss about the chemical modification, so the first in this the chemical modification, it is done by the 5 methods like the salt formation, co-crystallization, co-solvency, hydrotrophy and the prodrug. So the first one so the first one, if we discuss about the first one, like the change of pH, this can be achieved in 2 ways: in situ salt formation and the addition of buffers to formulation, example buffered aspirin tablets, and the next is a complexation. The beta and the gamma cyclodextrins having ability to form molecular inclusion complexes with hydrophilic drug having poor aqueous solubility. The cyclodextrins are versatile in having the hydrophobic cavity of suitable enough to accommodate the lipophilic relatively hydrophilic and thus improved aqueous solubility. Example is the barbiturates and benzodiazepines. Next one is the salt formation. Salts have improved solubility in comparison to the original drug. Example, alkali metal salts of acidic drug like penicillin and a strong acid salt of basic drug like atropine are water soluble than parent drug. The next one is a prodrug. The solubility can be increased by conversion of drug into prodrug. Example, chloroform and tocopherols are poorly aqueous soluble drugs. The solubility increased by succinate ester prodrug of chloramphenicol and tocopherols. The next one is a miscellaneous methods. The first one is the use of surfactant. The surfactant reduce the interfacial tension. The process of dissolution in presence of surfactant has been described as a formation of micelle, the colloidal aggregates of surfactant, which enhances the solubility of poorly soluble solute. When the surfactant of proper HLB is added in low concentration to liquids, it tends to orient at air-liquid interface. Example is the spironolactone, the steroids that increases the solubility by using the surfactant, that is non-ionic polysorbates. Next one is the co-solvency. The technique enhances the solubility of very poorly soluble drug in water by adding water miscible solvent in which the drug is very soluble. The solvent used in combination to increase the solubility of drug solutes are known as co-solvents. So the example is PEG 400 is improving the solubility of hydrochlorothiazide, and the hydro Hydrotrophy desiccate the increase in solubility in water due to the presence of large amount of additives, and the mechanism related to complexation involving a weak interaction. The